it's Mrs. Maths here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are looking at the Leaving Cert Higher Level 2018 Paper 1 Question 3. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like it and you find it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and also to tell your friends about it. I am very active on my Instagram and Facebook page, so pop over there and say hi. Let's look at part A of this question 3, and it says, let h of x equals cos of 2x, where x is an element of the real numbers. A tangent is drawn to the graph of h of x at the point where x is equal to root over 3. Before we go any further, this should spark in your mind that you are dealing in radians here. So pi over 3 is a measurement in radians. Find the angle that this tangent makes with the positive sense of the x-axis. We are referring to a tangent to a curve. The minute you think about a tangent to a curve, what comes into your head? It should be differentiation. The first thing you're going to do here is you're going to take h of x equals cos of 2x and you're going to differentiate it. In this case, you'll end up using the chain rule and you get an answer of minus 2 sine 2 of x. Because this is more of a trigonometry style question, I'm not going into depth in how I differentiated this. However, if you're not sure, put a comment below and I will explain it thoroughly if you need it. The next job that I'm going to do then is I'm going to take into account x equals pi over 3. What they're telling us here is that there is a line that hits the graph at that point. So what I've done here is I have sketched the graph of cos of 2x. If you're familiar with trigonometric graphs, fantastic. If not, it's not necessary, but it does give you a good visual guide. Graph of cos of 2x has a period of pi. So that means it repeats every pi. As I've done a very basic sketch, +1 to -1 and my x-axis. And I have graphed pi over 3, which is roughly here. And when I drop down a line, I see that this pink line is my tangent. Now I have a fairly decent idea about where the tangent is, what way it's going, is it positive, is it negative, etc. So it's a good start. They're looking for the angle of that tangent with the positive sense of the x-axis. So we're looking at this angle here. Let's get on to the trigonometry part of this question. I have let x equal to pi over 3, which is what you're told in the question. And I sub it in to the h dash of x formula. Make sure your calculator is in radians so you get the correct answer. And you get an answer of minus root 3, which is approximately minus 1.73. Is I've actually redrawn my situation because what I want to do now is I want to find my reference angle here now. I had a rough sketch of what my tangent looks like. Now bear in mind it's slightly different to this, but the point I'm getting across is that the orientation of it. What I need to do now is I need to find the reference angle here. I'm taking the positive version of my slope, which is the digit essentially as opposed to the sign. The minus is just telling me the orientation of the line. I get the inverse tan of root 3 and I solve for this angle in here, pi over 3 when I do this calculation. We know that the full 180 degrees or the full straight angle here is 180 degrees, or it's pi. I need to know what my actual angle theta is here because this is what we're looking for. Theta is equal to pi minus pi over 3, which gives me an answer of 2 pi over 3, which is the same as saying 120 degrees. They do give the information in radians, so generally you're going to give your answer in radians. That was a 10-mark question. Let's move on to the next one. In part B, we are asked to find the average value of h of x over the interval of x being between 0 and pi over 4, x being an element of the real numbers. Give your answer in terms of pi. To get an average value of a function, we use this formula here. So we're going to do some integration in this question. Sadly, this is not in your log tables. So the only thing that's different here from your standard integration is this bit here. 1 over b minus a. b and a being your interval. What I always do, as you know, is I write out all the information that I need. So I know that my hx is cos of 2x. My a and b is my interval. So there's a and there's b, and I have those written here. All I need to do now is to fill into the formula. Now you know me well by now. What am I going to say? I'm going to say, show me that you filled in the formula. I need to see it, guys, okay? So make sure you're showing me that. So I need to see everything filled in here. As you know, and as you've heard before, if something goes wrong in the next few lines after that, at least I know you used the correct formula and you subbed in the correct information in the correct place. And there's actually a huge amount of merit there. A pro tip from Mrs. Maths Ireland. I'm going to do my integration next. I'm going to integrate cos of 2x. And we find that that gives me sine of 2x over 2. If this is new to you and you feel like you're not sure where I got that information from, go back and practice just loads and loads and loads of questions involving integration. There's loads and loads and loads of examples in your books. Use your logbooks. There's a lot of guidance in your logbooks. It's there for you. It's free information that you can have in the exam, so be familiar with it and know where it is. Practice, practice, practice. These questions and these topics are a lot easier when the likes of differentiating and integrating is easy for you. If you know that stuff well, the questions are a little bit less difficult. Once I've integrated that, I have consolidated this fraction into 4 over pi. The difference in the notation here, my integral has gone because I'm integrating. However, I do still need to indicate that I have an interval. So that's why I put the square brackets around it now, and I have my intervals written in. I'm subbing in my intervals here now. So I'm going to sub in the bigger interval, which is pi over 4, and then I'm going to sub in the smaller one, which is 0, and I subtract the smaller from the bigger. When I work that out, I get a half. Just doing the work here, I get 2 over pi as my answer. That question overall was worth 15 marks, which I think is a fair amount of marks for that, considering you did need to remember this yourself. And that is part B finished. That is the end of question 3 from the 2018 Leaving Cert Higher Level paper 1. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.